So automated cross-sell, with all of these challenges going on, why is that so important in this moment? Well, what automated cross-sell does is it gives FinServ teeth. We all know cross-selling facilitates growth and retention, and that can lower operating costs. So if you have a 5% increase in customer retention, you're going to produce more than a 25% increase in profit. And that is more sustainable over time with a return customer than with acquiring a new customer, right? But what cross-sell also does is it gives a foundation for creating opportunity in new revenue areas, which is a major thing that banks and credit unions have to do in this moment. For example, you've got the elimination of overdraft fees. From a consumer standpoint, yay, that's great. We love that. But from the bank and credit union standpoint, that's crushing billions of dollars in revenue. And so how are we going to make up for that revenue loss in other areas? We have to be smart and creative about how we go about that. And the beauty of automating the cross-sell, not only because it informs smarter decision-making towards which of those products and services are going to be effective to sell to certain demographics, but it also, on the internal side, really makes it more enticing to team members. So we're going to use my pretend example here of Linda, our mortgage loan officer. Okay, Linda's badass. She's been doing mortgage loans for 20 years. She is into this process inside and out. She knows what's going on. So Linda's out here slinging mortgage loans like nobody's business. What benefit does Linda see from proposing a checking account or a HELOC with those mortgage loans when she really has no idea whether or not those individuals are going to be interested? In her mind, she's thinking, well, I can either do what I know is going to be effective and originate more mortgages, or I can waste my time trying to take these people down this route that I don't think is going to be fruitful. When you give Linda that data, though, when you put that in front of her, when you automate the process for her to show her, hey, Linda, based on these factors, this person that you're working with right now is very likely to need a HELOC. And here's the paperwork and here's the process that you can go through to initiate that. And it's all automated for you. Now Linda is able to see, hey, there's actually a lot of possibility here for me to increase the revenue, and I don't really feel overwhelmed by the additional amount of work that comes with that. On the customer side, that automation also simplifies their process because they're able to do their part without having to go through a bunch of hoops either. Cross-sell is also helping organizations protect themselves against this competitive loss. You've got all these digital assets just exploding onto the scene. You've got all these ESG standards that are making banks more competitive with each other. We have this, we don't have this. We're doing this for the environment. We need to be doing that for the environment. More than half of Americans are using more than one financial institution. I'm one of them. I use 3. 21% are using more than 3. Why are we doing this? We're doing it because it's more flexible, it's more convenient, there's more diversity of products. If an organization can provide that diversity internally, they are preventing those consumers from having to look somewhere else. And that is power. And then optimized cross-sell is improving customer experience, which is another aspect of solidifying growth. In 2021, Forrester did a study and they found retail banks that are regularly practicing CX optimization are growing 3.2 times faster than competitors. But what's crazy about that is that those retail banks were only acting on 59% of the data they collected to improve CX. So imagine if they're able to grow 3.2 times faster acting on 59% of the data, how much faster could they actually be growing if they were acting on 100% of that data? 5 times faster? 10 times faster? That is the ultimate question. So what is standing in the way of these FinServs providing the cross-sell and customer experience that they need to be providing? There's a couple of things. First of all, there's perceived risk. It's tying back again to this bigger theme of not having the tech resources, right? So if you don't have the right people who know how to work with the data, there's fear there. 42% of customer experience leaders in Forrester's study saw identifiable data as risky or extremely risky. Now that I can understand. You can see that down here. There's that 42%. That makes sense. Identifiable customer data is, definitely something that financial services and healthcare in particular, those two industries, would be very, very nervous about, but every industry would be nervous about, right? You've got GDPR, CCPR, all these different regulations that are coming in that are really trying to give people more empowerment over their data and making it very scary for these institutions to think about what might happen if they overstep those bounds, right? So that makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is that they're fearing also at almost the same level the types of data that really actually aren't risky. And so what Forrester found was the less mature the banking strategy, the more likely a retail bank would fear the type of data that's not risky. And that's what we can see here in the numbers. Anonymized customer data, 40%, almost the same percentage of those who think identifiable customer data is risky, thought that that was risky. Anonymized customer data is awesome. Anonymized customer data has power. That's what you can use in a safe, secure way to inform machine learning and to form artificial intelligence and to inform analytics and get trends and information that helps you create more personalized solutions. We should not be afraid of this, but we are at such a high degree that that is a concerning statistic to look at. So again, skilled staff is an issue. 73% of FinServ execs cite a lack of skills or insufficient training as their biggest challenge to moving forward with their digital initiatives. And when you don't have that tech team, you're also missing the right culture. If you're not communicating the digital transformation to the team, not only at the executive level, but down to Linda's level, who's slinging mortgages, she's got to know, what benefit is this going to bring me? What can I expect from this? Why are we doing this? If you don't do that, it's going to fail. 80% of digital transformation initiatives that don't have a corresponding culture fail. The ongoing struggles with legacy systems, trying to decide how they fit into that picture, that's also causing some concerns around digital transformation and slowdowns. And then you have the fact that IT is having a lot of trouble justifying these investments. Forbes found that while a bank is implementing the active phase of transformation, the level of investment that creates tangible results is about 10% of the bank's annual expenditure. And that active phase can last anywhere from 1 to 3 years. So to a banking executive who's looking at the numbers, they're going to be a little bit scared of that. 10% is actually a lot. And IT has to make the argument that this is worthwhile. Meanwhile, the other thing that I really wanted to point out here was processes being created by the wrong people. So you don't have the skilled staff, right? You don't have the technical guys and girls working in there that you need, who can inform the digital transformation process and create the automations you need. So you bring in specialists, you bring in people from other divisions, and you put them in charge of restructuring and defining all the processes. The problem with that is that they're not the owners of those processes. They're not on the ground floor with Linda every day. They don't see how things work in Linda's department. And so that is slowing down the overall vision of the digital transformation, because they are seeing this with their own tunnel vision instead of seeing the bigger picture from somebody in the perspective of Linda's chair.